Hello, my name is Jeff Bradley. I'm a principal at M Group. We've been working with the City of Sausalito and its residents for the past few years on updating the city's general plan. I want to introduce the team that we've been working with, including Tom Ford, Asher Cohn, Aaron Tao, as well as Lily Whalen and the General Plan Advisory Committee at the city. We are in the home stretch of the general plan update process, making edits to the final documents before hearings in front of the Planning Commission and City Council in the fall, and we are hosting this virtual workshop to get community input on this important document. This video was published a few days before the June 20th workshop so that community members can learn more about the process and give input on the general plan so far. We will give an overview of the planning process and discuss the Sausalito general plan update in particular before highlighting some of the key issues. Then I'm going to briefly discuss the June 20th event before talking about upcoming meetings and opportunities for input. Since 2017, we have been working on Sausalito's general plan. This serves as a blueprint for future development. It's required by state law and operates on a 20-year time frame. The general plan is a document that city staff and other decision makers, such as the Planning Commission and City Council, can rely on in order to make planning decisions for the city. So for example, when there's a general plan program, such as the health, safety, and community resilience element, to regularly update the city's building code as necessary to address current standards of earthquake safety, it puts in place a directive for the city to expend resources to keep the building code up to date. This general plan is the most important planning tool on the city's tool belt. However, there are also state laws and regional plans that affect future development, the zoning ordinance, and voter initiatives that have a governing effect. It is important that all these documents have consistency and that other plans or regulations be consistent with the general plan and serve to implement the general plan over time. Any future municipal code updates, particularly the zoning ordinance, are directed by this document that we are currently discussing. The general plan is subject to a public process, and this is a process that has been ongoing for a few years now. There have been public meetings about the general plan update since 2017, and we have been analyzing existing conditions, collecting public comment, and having meetings throughout. We worked with city staff to break this project into 4 phases: understanding, visioning, plan development, and plan adoption. We are now at the plan development phase, working on the language in a series of drafts through plan adoption later this year. It is important to keep in your mind that this is a general plan update. That is, we are updating the general plan adopted by Sausalito back in 1995. The plan does not start from scratch, but rather retains most of the objectives, policies, and programs of the 1995 General Plan. In late 2017, we worked with the General Plan Advisory Committee, or GPAC, to go through every program and decide whether to carry it through to this document or develop an alternative. This was called the General Plan Audit and is a part of the Comprehensive Existing Conditions Report, which served as a baseline for this General Plan update. In addition to this baseline, we worked with the community to envision what Sausalito might be. This entitled an intense community outreach process, which by the time of general plan adoption will have included no less than 43 meetings with the GPAC, the 13-member committee appointed by the council to guide this process, 7 stakeholder group meetings, 7 general plan working group meetings, 4 community workshops, 2 city council and planning commission joint study sessions, 2 planning commission study sessions, 1 city council study session, 2 pop-up workshops, and 2 walking tours. The amount of input we got from all this has been substantial, and it may be worth your time going through the website www.sausalitogeneralplan.org, as well as the city's website to learn a bit more about what was discussed. A big takeaway from these meetings was the community goals. These are 11 statements from the community on what they want to see in Sausalito over the next 20 years. These are: 1, maintain Sausalito's small-scale residential neighborhoods, recognizing their geographical, architectural, and cultural diversity while supporting a range of housing options. Number 2, recognize and perpetuate the defining characteristics of Sausalito, including its aesthetic beauty, scenic features, natural and built environment, its history, and its diverse culture. Number 3, recognizing their importance to Sausalito's economic vitality, encourage businesses and activities that have high municipal revenue generation potential and low environmental impacts. 4, preserve Sausalito's waterfront as a natural resource while carefully balancing the needs and desires of water-dependent businesses, water-related activities, and amenities for the general public, including access to and from the bay. Number 5, recognizing their role and importance to the Bay Area and the city's cultural, historic, and economic diversity and quality of life, encourage industrial, arts, and water-dependent or water-related activities in the Marinship. Support these activities through the inclusion of compatible businesses and uses, along with other uses that can adapt to changing economic conditions. Number 6, ensure fiscal sustainability to provide an appropriate level of public services, including upgrading and modernizing and maintaining Sausalito's infrastructure. Number 7, safeguard the natural environment, ensure community health, safety, and resilience, including addressing the inherent risk of climate change, sea level rise, and subsidence. Number 8, provide a variety of circulation options through and within Sausalito. Number 9, manage tourism to minimize impacts on the community while supporting a quality visitor experience. Number 10, engage proactively with regional and state level policy efforts to ensure that Sausalito's vision, goals, and quality of life are sustained in the long term. Number 11, seek innovative and sustainable solutions to sea level rise in collaboration with county and regional agencies and innovators to sustain the quality of life in Sausalito and its active waterfront uses. In addition, we developed a community vision to guide the writing of the general plan update. It is as follows. Sausalito is a thriving, safe, and friendly community that sustainably cultivates its natural beauty, history, and its arts and waterfront culture. Due to sea level rise and the continuing effects of climate change, the city seeks to bridge the compelling features and attributes of the city's past, particularly its unique shoreline neighborhoods, with the environmental inevitabilities of its future. Sausalito embraces environmental stewardship and is dedicated to climate leadership while it strives to conserve the cultural, historic, artistic, business, and neighborhood diversity and character that make up the Sausalito community. These statements provide the aspirations for the general plan update. With these, the framework provided in the 1995 general plan, and the public input contributed throughout this process, we went to work on drafting the general plan. This brings us to the current phase in the planning process, plan preparation. After we worked with city staff on a working draft of the general plan, we published a public review draft in early April. At a series of public meetings since then, we have taken direction and input at general plan working group and GPAC meetings to produce a revised public review draft. This public workshop serves as another opportunity to provide input and discuss this draft. The draft that has been provided is a redline document based on the 1995 general plan. That is, the edits, deletions, and insertions made to the 1995 general plan are visible in the document. In addition, we have noted the direction and input we have received since the public review draft was published back in April. The bones of the 1995 general plan make for a good document. We did, however, need to take new considerations into account. For example, the 1995 general plan did not consider sea level rise nor climate change. We inserted a lot of new guidance for sea level rise, subsidence, and liquefaction in particular, aligning to county research and reports on how these interlocking issues affect the region. In addition, the state requirements for what is included in a general plan have changed. There are 7 required elements of a general plan: land use, circulation, housing, conservation, open space, noise, and safety. There are also optional elements that are added due to community interest. This can get a bit confusing because the housing element is updated on a different cycle than the general plan update. In addition, there are 2 new elements that were not in the 1995 general plan: the waterfront element and the sustainability element. The waterfront element describes the city's entire waterfront with a particular focus on the Marinship. It houses the Marinship vision that Council discussed in 2019, as well as objectives, policies, and programs that support a sustainable and diverse waterfront, from residences in the south to industrial and maritime uses in the north. The sustainability element describes the practices of the cities and its communities that allow them to meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. It includes objectives on sea level rise and climate change, contextualizing them in the county's efforts and the efforts of community groups within the city. Broadly speaking, there's an emphasis on sea level rise and climate change that was not present in the 1995 plan. This includes the city's adopted climate action plan and incorporates statewide regulations on climate change. This draft of the general plan adopts best practices from other waterfront communities as well as tailoring programs to the specific needs and aspirations of Sausalito communities. The general plan update also seeks to update the city's objectives concerning circulation and parking. While this document does not recommend changing any land uses in the city, we recognize that increasing use of ride-sharing transportation, electric vehicles, scooters, and e-bikes lead to parking patterns that might not have been conceived of in 1995. In addition, many cities have seen increasing demand in food pickup and delivery even before COVID-19 that may also apply to Sausalito. This document includes language that will allow the city to update its parking patterns to support residents and businesses while staying within the confines of existing voter initiatives. In addition, the general plan update allows opportunities for change in neighborhood commercial and the Catalonia area. Rather than directing change, the draft document allows the city flexibility in considering how changing consumption patterns and resident serving amenities can be supported in the city's commercial areas over the next 20 years. Finally, the draft document includes many ideas that have come forward from the Marinship Specific Plan. That 1989 document governs land uses and other issues in the Marinship. The policy language from the Marinship Specific Plan will be largely incorporated into the general plan update, and the zoning regulations will be folded into a later project called the Zoning Ordinance Update that uses general plan policies to update the city's zoning ordinance. This separate process is recommended by the state to be completed no more than 2 years after the new general plan is adopted. Only after the Marinship Specific Plan's policies are contained in the general plan and its regulatory language is transferred to the updated zoning ordinance will the Marinship Specific Plan be rescinded as a regulatory document. This may seem like a lot of moving parts, and in a sense, that is the case, which is why this general plan update is done as a public, transparent process, so that the community affected, meaning all of you watching, can see the gears turn and give your input as to what the finished product ought to look like. The public workshop on June 20th is an opportunity for you all to do exactly this. Give your input to be considered as we work with the city to refine the draft document. On the morning of that Saturday on June 20th, we are going to host a Zoom meeting with the city. I'm going to give a brief presentation that gives an overview of the general plan update process and where we are in it. Then we're going to give time for a survey before turning the floor over to the public. That's you again. We'll ask that anyone who wishes to speak raise their hand via Zoom software so we can divvy up the time to give everyone an equal opportunity to say their share. But first, we're going to give you, the listener and community member, a way to get out ahead of the meeting. On your screen, you can see a link that will take you to an online survey. In order to get an early sense of what interests are out there and what the people who will be attending on June 20th think, we want people to fill out the survey early if possible. Please take a few minutes after watching this video, or whenever you have the time, to fill out the survey and share it with someone else in the community. Thank you. Public comment is welcome at any public meeting, not only this upcoming public workshop. There are a few more meetings coming up to discuss the general plan update. The general plan working group and an upcoming date to be scheduled, the Planning Commission on July 1st, City Council on July 7th. After these meetings, we're going to take the next 2 months to sit down with everyone's input and put together an adoption draft of the general plan. This will be discussed by the Planning Commission in September before being turned over to Council for adoption hearings in October. I know that this was a lot of information. We covered everything from the basic building blocks of a general plan to the precise ways in which you can help out at the meeting on June 20th, covering years of process in approximately 25 minutes. If you have any other questions or you want to know more, Go to sausalitogeneralplan.org and take some time to explore the website. You can also reach us via email at info@sausalitogeneralplan.org. Please again, don't forget to fill out the survey at the link on your screen. And while you're at it, send this video to a friend. The more input we have from this community and the more diverse views are represented at the June 20th workshop, the better this whole project and process becomes. Thanks again for being an important part of this process and for working with us every step of the way. Take care, be safe, and we look forward to hearing from you on the 20th. Thank you.